Consider a fish for your tank that's colorful, lively, and full of personality. If you could give Miss or Mister Congeniality trophies in your tank, then you probably wouldn't look any further than the small but vibrant guppy fish. These little fish are packed with personality, color, and even a surprising history. But what makes them stand out from the crowd? Let's dive into everything you need to know about the guppy fish, including the optimal aquarium setup, best tank mates, and even a little about their history. Stick around until the end, as we reveal a fun fact regarding guppies that is rarely spoken about and truly blew up our minds when we first heard about it. Guppies, also known as Posilia reticulata, are native to the waters of northeastern South America, including Venezuela, Guyana, Brazil, and Trinidad and Tobago. If you happen to live or have visited one of these countries, please let us know if you have seen guppies in freshwater bodies of that country. The guppy fish received its name after a British naturist called Robert John Lechmere Guppy, who took samples of the specimen and sent them out to the Natural History Museum of London in 1866. Fun fact, he was not the first one to discover this specimen, but somehow, his name stuck, and became worldwide recognized as is. What do you think about the fish being named Guppy? Do you like that name and think it's a good fit? Or would you rather call this specimen something else? If so, what would that be? Please let us know in the comments section below. Moving on, what do we at Fishiact like about guppies? I guess the question should rather be what do we dislike about it, since it's basically a fish that scores a 10 out of 10 on our scorecard. The only thing that we can think of is the fact that guppies are sometimes too gullible, peaceful, and friendly. Although we actually love this about guppies, it could also make them an easy target for predators. For example, they're too easy to catch on our fish tanks, since they basically come at you and almost seem to trust you like a parent or even one of their own. This is a very different approach from other species that we have discussed in the channel before, such as Pleiades. If you are interested in knowing more about Pleiades, feel free to look into our educational video library for a detailed video on the matter. Although we enjoy the fact that guppies are super friendly, we also have to be very mindful with what kind of fish we pair them up because of this particularity of them. Feel free to stick around until the end of this video, as we will talk about which species to preferably pair up guppies with, and which ones to avoid. If you are a beginner in the hobby with no experience whatsoever, or if you got yourself the experience of taking care of another beginner fish, like a betta because it's the first fish you were told to try, you gotta take a trip to the local pet shop and take a look at a guppy tank. You will be marveled by their vibrant colors and packed personality. Guppies are extremely friendly and playful, and their vibrant colors will stand out in your tank regardless of anything else you have in it. Side note, feel free to check out our video on bettas if you want to dig deeper into one big fan favorite in the hobby. Guppy fish are live bearers. This means that they give birth to live fry rather than laying eggs. This is one thing to consider if you're pondering upon adopting them, as live bearers can give birth to around 20 to up to something like 100 fry per pregnancy at approximately a monthly basis. That's a lot of fish. Hence, you better have a plan. If you're not interested in having too many guppies, you might want to consider adopting male-only guppies, or perhaps females you trust from a breeder that have been separated from males for several months. On the other hand, if breeding guppies is your thing, you should totally consider a breeder tank with enough space. And to help control the population, you could add other tank mates that will keep the fry population at ease. Also keep in mind that a guppy and another live bearer, the endler fish, can actually mate, and have offspring that we commonly refer to in the hobby as guppy endlers. So that's definitely something to think about when you're building up a community tank. You don't need to worry about guppies mating with other live bearers such as mollies, Pleiades, or swordtails. They may attempt to mate, however fertilization is not possible according to scientific research. Lastly, if you end up with too many guppies in your tank, you could always exchange them with fellow hobbyists, sell them, Give them to friends who can take good care of them, or even take them to your local pet shop. Some pet shops will even give you something in exchange, like a can of fish flakes. Guppies aren't really pack or schooling fish, they're actually shoaling fish. That means they like to hang out together, but sometimes they enjoy just roaming around the tank by themselves. This kind of gives them a sense of interdependence. Now when they're threatened by predators, guppies might swim closer together in a more synchronized way to look bigger and, hopefully, scare off any attackers. This strength in numbers is what we spoke about on our most recent video titled, Stress Management Lessons That We Can Learn from Our Aquatic Friends. Feel free to check it out on our video library. Oh, and by the way, if you're enjoying the content of this video so far, please consider rewarding us with a like, share, and subscribe. As shoaling fish, guppies really do much better in groups. They require at least a 5-gallon tank for a group of 3. For example, you might want to think about having a group of at least 3 males or 3 females for a 5-gallon nano tank. As you can see, we're not recommending 2 females and 1 male guppy for a 5-gallon tank because the guppy population will probably skyrocket, and then you'll have to move them pretty soon into a bigger tank. The amount of tank gallon you'll need for guppies really depends on how many you want to keep. And just like with any other fish, replicating their natural habitats with things like plants, rocks, or driftwood is a big plus that they seem to enjoy a lot. Male guppies tend to have more vibrant colors, and they're significantly smaller in size, about 1.6 inches or 4 centimeters long. They also like to establish dominance by chasing each other around the tank. Females, on the other hand, are larger in size, around 2.8 inches or 7 centimeters long, and they tend to be calmer and just more chill overall. If you're keeping them together in the same tank, it's a good idea to have 2 to 3 females for every male. This helps avoid overwhelming the females because honestly males can be very persistent when it comes to mating attempts. Too many males without enough females can also lead to aggression between the males, as they compete for the chance to mate with a female. Guppies are really hardy fish, and they can be quite forgiving even if you don't have them in their most ideal tank setup. In order for them to truly thrive, it's best to consider their natural environments. Since they're tropical fish, their habitats usually have warm water with temperatures ranging from 74 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 23 to 28 degrees Celsius. They also do best in slightly alkaline water, with an ideal pH of 7.0 to 8.0. Actually, water consistency is more important than hitting an exact number on the pH scale. If you're thinking about keeping guppies in a community tank with other fish, here's a small list of other species that, in our experience, get along well with guppies. Just remember, you'll want to keep an eye on everyone's behavior since, well, no list is ever a guarantee. Personally, we've kept guppies with other similarly sized nano fishes and species, and for the most part, they've gotten along really well. Our recommended list of potential tank mates includes the least killifish, honey guramis, harlequin rasberus, neon, ember or cardinal tetras, glow light tetras, corydorus catfish, autocinclus catfish, any kind of snail, cherry, amano and ghost shrimp. We've even had them with bamboo and vampire shrimp before, among others, and honestly we didn't have any issues with any of them. We also recommend other live bearers like mollies, swordtails and platies, but you'll want to keep an eye on them since they're bigger and might show some aggression toward guppies, especially the males when they're hungry or looking to mate. On the other end, some tank mates to avoid include the usual fin-nipping tiger barb, some territorial guramis, and bettas. Although some people have successfully paired up guppies and bettas, Close attention must be paid since bettas are territorial and may confuse guppies' looks with another one of their kind, and become aggressive. For obvious reasons, please avoid predatory bigger fish, like Oscars and arowanas. Feel free to leave us a comment down below to tell us which other aquatic species have worked well for you when pairing them up with guppies. Guppies' lifespan is around 2 to 5 years depending on genetics and how well taken care of they are. As we always say, if you take good care of them, guppies are surely going to reward you with their beauty display, playfulness around all of the tank, silliness, and friendliness. This is certainly one of the most coveted fish in the hobby, which has astonishing varieties in colors, shapes, and tail types. 3 of our favorites include the lyre tail, mosaic, and the cobra kind. How about you, fishy friend? What's your favorite type of guppy? When it comes to their feeding habits, guppies are omnivores, meaning that they eat both protein and plant-rich foods. So, feel free to mix and match as you like. They are flexible and adaptable to your menu. Please consider high-quality flake food, properly sized pellets, live or frozen brine shrimp, daphnia, bloodworms, algae wafers, spirulina, and blanched veggies such as spinach, zucchini, and peas. Adult guppies feed around 1 to 2 times per day, while fry may require more frequent feeding for rapid growth. Personally, our guppies seem to love protein flakes and spirulina and algae wafers. Meanwhile, we feed our guppy fry a mix of crushed mysis shrimp and protein flakes. We like crushed mysis shrimp, since technically it contains more nutrients and protein than brine shrimp for our fry. We want them to grow healthy, strong, and fast, so they can protect themselves from predators. Since you took the time to watch this video until the end, we want to leave you with one interesting fact about guppies and how they help out our civilization. The guppy fish is a little fish that is not only liked in captivity by its looks and silly antics, but is also used by pest control agencies. They have been strategically introduced into standing water bodies, such as ponds and drainage systems, especially in the tropics where you have plenty of mosquitoes all year long, in order to keep their population at ease. This is explained by the fact that guppies are known to be great feeders of mosquito larvae, which are to grow in freshwater bodies. When guppies are introduced into these freshwater bodies, they reproduce quickly, since as you already know, they are live bearers, and easily tackle and keep at ease the mosquito population. That makes them cost-effective and efficient tools by pest control agencies. They are also low maintenance, require minimal intervention, and less pollution, when compared to chemical compounds that could also be used. What a brave, strategic army of specialized hires guppies are for pest control agencies. Now that's what we call a little marvelous fish. We hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider smashing the like button, subscribing and sharing with others. We have different videos and shorts on everything fish, aquariums, and aquatic species. As always, thanks for watching and God bless, fishy friend.